I'm going to attempt to dive a bit more into Whitechapel as a place, and then Bridget's going to talk to you about some of our specific projects that we're delivering down in Whitechapel. So, Whitechapel, you can see it sort of northwest in the borough, just to the east of the city fringe area, which is the yellow area on the map. Linear layout, dominated by the road, TfL owned road. We've got about 600 businesses in Whitechapel, roughly even split between retail, leisure, and office-based businesses. The majority of users of our high street, about 60%, are residents. Sri said, but the high street performs a really important role providing low-cost goods and services to our residents. We've, as Sri said again, a range of civic uses in the high street. Town Hall, Whitechapel Art Gallery. We've got East London Mosque, massive transport interchange. We're very lucky and fortunate, I think, to have those assets in our high street. And really, the programmes that we're delivering is capitalising on the benefits that they bring to us. If you look out the window, you can see that the high street is predominantly, our retail businesses are predominantly small SMEs, family-run businesses. A lot of the retail businesses also work on the market day to day, and there's a really strong community there. And the market trades 6 days a week. I think there's 120 pitches, something like that. We've got 80 traders, and I think it's true that the high street trades on the reputation of the market. That's what the area's known for. We've got a limited nighttime economy. There's a real drop-off in footfall about 6-7 p.m. When the market closes. I think we suffer a little bit because we're close to that city fringe area. So Shoreditch, Brick Lane, that's where the nighttime economy is in Tower Hamlets predominantly. Few pubs, few late night restaurants, but really the nighttime environment is something that we'd like to improve. And TfL, they own the highway and the majority of the retail units on the Northern Footway. It's great, actually, that we've got one institutional landlord that we can deal with, who are very sensible. And part of the work that we're doing, and if you look out the window, the scaffolding on their retail units, that is their shopfront and repairs project. As that comes forwards, we hope to work with them to influence their letting strategy in due course. And the last point leads on to the next slide. Whitechapel's our worst rated high street, and the reason for that is for the environmental issues, waste, graffiti, issues like that. This slide then, I could have had a whole presentation on the challenges that we face in Whitechapel, and I want to pitch it as not just challenges but opportunities as well. So, poor quality environment. Whitechapel suffers, I think, physically because of its layout. We don't have a service road to the back of the retail units, which means commercial waste, residential waste, and market waste comes through the high street and is left on the street. That is a big challenge that we need to overcome. High footfall, high levels of ASB, hundreds of thousands of people use Crossrail station every day. That obviously attracts ASB. It's a big issue for our businesses in the town centre. There was a BBC News article about, very sad actually, but cowpole being the most shoplifted item in Tower Hamlets. We've noticed that in the high street, that ASB shoplifting in particular is a massive issue. Reputation, gosh, we're the cheapest property on the Monopoly board. It's going to take a lot to shift the reputation of Whitechapel. If recent news stories are to go by, I think the learning really is if we don't tell the story, someone else is going to. We've got a local customer base, and I think that is slightly in contradiction to the footfall that use the station. So the market and the high street predominantly serves that local residents, but that is in contradiction to the people who commute through the Crossrail station. So I think marrying that is a bit of a challenge, something that we want to do. We're blessed as well. I think we've got the largest employer in the borough, Bart's Hospital, 15,000 employees, about 80% women. We've got that town hall as well. We've got 5,000 employees working here. And again, I think there's some tension between the employees who work here and the retail offer on the high street. Lack of a high street business group. I think the point above probably illustrates why we don't have one, but that's a space that we and the Whitechapel Town Centre Management Programme we've attempted to fill, or in the process of filling. We crossed 3 ward boundaries, very boring administrative information. What that actually means is we've got to deal with 3 separate Met Police teams. Again, that's a space that the Town Council we've tried to fill. And that lack of nighttime economy has a big impact on the perception of safety and actual safety. I mentioned that the hospital, the majority of the workforce are women, so the lack of nighttime economy is a big issue in Whitechapel. And there's wider challenges. This will be familiar to everyone in the room, but cost of living crisis. And for the businesses, that's twofold, really. 1, rising operating costs, and then 2, a drop in consumer spending. So we know that people are spending or visiting high streets just as much, but just spending less. And lastly, Sri mentioned this, but there is massive challenges to change in Whitechapel. Big consultation fatigue, and our businesses, there's some barriers to participation, English, time, technology that all make it difficult. So, this is what we're focused in. So that pink area is the scope of the Town Centre Management Programme. That's where the 600 odd businesses operate. And just a little bit of background, really. So Matt mentioned that we took part in the Unlocking Your Place Potential programme a couple of years ago. And that programme really was the catalyst for establishing our Town Centre Management Programme. So on the back of that, we got delivered a great report, and that really provoked us into identifying funding to establish the programme. And that was about a year ago, so we're about partway through the programme as we are now. The objectives on the screen, I won't read them out, you can see them. But essentially, the Town Centre Management Programme is designed to, well, really ensure that the rising tide lifts all boats in the town centre. We've got a lot of physical developments, infrastructure projects, the RIP project, shopfront repair project, DHSC life sciences project just down the road, private developments at the Silt district. We want the businesses in the town centre to benefit from those changes. So, what we did, this was the first thing we did. This is one slide that tries to summarise all of a huge bit of work that we did on engagement down in Whitechapel. The graph essentially shows the key themes that businesses, residents, employees and some of our key stakeholders like the Met and resident groups want to see improved. You won't be surprised, but if you look at the left-hand side of the graph, they're all environmental factors, so safety and security, graffiti, that type of stuff. There is a couple of interesting things that is worth pointing out. So the taller bars in the middle of the graph, women's safety and the nighttime environment, unsurprisingly, that employees in the area and our stakeholder groups identified them as key priorities for improvement. So last slide for me before I hand over to Bridget. This is what we're doing in a nutshell. So we've got 5 objectives of the programme, and we've got identified 6 priority themes to reflect what we've been told by those 4 stakeholder groups. 300 grand, not a huge amount of budget, but significant enough to make a difference. We've got 1 dedicated town centre manager, and we're about halfway through the programme to date. So I'll shut up there and let Bridget talk to you about some of the specific projects that we're delivering.
Thank you very much, Adam. Yes, there's a very big job to do with all of the objectives and all of the challenges that we have, but there are opportunities, as Adam said. The first theme that we have is safety and security. Now, this is the biggest issue by miles that we saw when we did the engagement survey. So we've done quite a bit in terms of investing time and resources to ensure that the businesses know that we are doing something to conquer the issues that they're seeing on a daily basis. So days of action. They want to see us. They want people to be visible. They want to see a presence on the high street. They want people to come in and see them. And that's what they're saying. They rarely see people, any security, any police turning up when they make a phone call. And Tower Hamlets is quite unique. We've got something called the Tower Hamlets Enforcement Officers. So we've got an extra layer. Apart from the police, apart from community safety officers, we've got an extra layer called THEOs. They're not seeing them. So these days of action provide the opportunity for them to be seen, but also they will walk into the businesses, introduce themselves. Do you have anything to report? Is there anything you'd like us to do? And, kudos to them. They actually take reports, they actually go back and they actually do things, which really, really helps. We do these 4 to 6 times of the year, and we do them at various locations on the high street because this is a very long high street. So if we have one gazebo here one day, in that week, then we'll go down the other end of the high street and ensure that we are tackling all of the businesses in these days of action. 4 to 6 times a year, my businesses might say it's not enough, but trust me, we do a lot of work in that time. We also specifically target ASB. There's an ASB week, and during that time, again, we're here in Whitechapel, but we also work with the 2 SNT teams. That's Whitechapel, Spitalfield and Bangortown is that side of the high street. This side of the high street is Whitechapel Ward. So both SNTs work together. My role has been just to pull everybody together in Whitechapel because we're all working towards the same objective. So therefore, everybody's now, oh, yeah, I know you, we're working on the same thing. Let's come together. Also, we've got BTP, we've got TFL. Everybody has now joined together since I've been doing the role, and it's working so well. I'm really pleased about that everybody's saying if we work together, we can cover more ground. And so out of this, we found that there are more actions being taken by TFL and BTP to be in the Bay Area and be in Whitechapel Station and work with our SNT police on joint operations, and they're very effective. The Safer Business Week, which is that leaflet that you're seeing there. Now, we're running these every week when it happens, and it's in conjunction with Hate Crime Week. There's also an active operation that happens during that time where there's a peace walk that happens. So everybody comes together with the community, with the businesses, and we work on any issues that they have. We go in and we take the reports and we go away. So we're constantly having that presence in the park, in the street, on the high street, in the businesses, and it's having a good effect, and I'm really happy about that. So we're making progress. The violence against women and girls, we have specific actions on those because, again, as Adam already reiterated, we've got lots of women who are employed here in the town hall, in the hospital, in Sainsbury. So we have to do things specific for them. You'll see I've got lots of panic alarms on my desk so everybody can have a panic alarm if they need it. We also work with our community safety colleagues when they also go out and they do their patrols as well. And when they do their days of actions, we work in collaboration with them. So we have a presence with them. So they know that they're Whitechapel Town Centre Manager. We're here for you. We're here to help you. And we're seen. And it is very nice to stand next to them and say, the council is actually doing something. The council is actually listening to you. And that makes a difference. Uplift in uniform presence. I do weekly walkabouts. Hopefully when I get my apprentice in a couple months' time, he or she will be able to assist with the walkabouts because there is a lot of ground to cover. It's not just this high street. We cover the side streets as well. And their businesses, first ground, second, third, even up to, we've got commercial premises. There's a lot of ground to cover, so I do need some support. That helps in terms of there are issues that you wouldn't know that these businesses are affecting unless you actually go in and speak to them, and we're able to take reports, give that back to the police, and internally get them dealt with. Quarterly ward meetings. As Adam says, we've got Whitechapel Ward, Spitalfield and Bangortown, and just at the end, we've got a bit that's Bethnal Green East. So there are 3 ward meetings. So what we do, we encourage the businesses to actually attend ward meetings so that our SNT get to know you, you get to know your SNT, you get to know your THEOs, you get to know who are your community safety officers, you get to report in person. So not only I giving the report, but you also get to give your report. You get to have your say, you get to have a forum where you can speak. And that is very effective because it's not just me saying, I've got corroboration. Thank you. Those pictures are when we've done our little things on the high street, I call them, but they're really, really effective. That's John Fortune, myself, and two of our community safety officers, Leanna and Michaela. And the bottom picture is with me and Paul. He was here on a special placement with us, 50 plus program. He was here with us for 6 months, and it was a pleasure working with him. He needed that, administrative. He's never done anything like this before. He's a trained chef, and he came and he went at it, and he was really good at connecting with the community and the businesses. Shame I don't have him anymore. But we've got workspaces on the high street that actually have lots of businesses in it. So what we do, we have specific days where we go into these workspaces so that we're able to specifically target the businesses inside of the workspaces, because otherwise you can't get to them. There's somebody standing at reception and you can't get in. So what we do, we've gone in, we've spoken to them, and they've given us the opportunity to stand in reception and engage with all the employees and all the businesses that are in the workspaces. And that has really helped, because they do not know that there is a program that can help them. The women that work in there do not know that there's something that can support them, and it's made a big difference. Thank you. Next slide, women's safety. Specifically, as we were saying, this is one of the themes that came out of our engagement. So this is twofold. There's an educational campaign. Now, the council has courses that it runs for free on violence against women and girls. None of the businesses here knew anything about this training. That's on free for them. So again, the women could empower themselves, educate themselves as to how to identify and how to tackle violence against women and girls, know the signs to look for when any issues are happening, and how to tackle it, and even how to deal with issues that are in the workplace that are for violence against women and girls. The last thing, which I really loved, Adam and I always had a little battle about this one, but I said, no, we're doing this one. Box fit self-defense classes. This has been really good in terms of building confidence in the women in the town center. It's physical training, but we do get to learn self-defense tips. I brought Bob over. Bob's at the back, so at lunchtime you can put your gloves on and you can get to hit the dummy at the back if you want to try it out. I've got Jennifer who's coming in. She's one of our trainers at the leisure center, and she'll be able to talk you through any tips, and you can get to practice on the dummy that's around the back. We call him Bob. We have classes twice a week, 1 o'clock at the leisure center, which is just behind the train station. Some members of staff are able to pop over and have a class for 45 minutes, and they can pop back to work. Any female employee, any female business owner can come to class at 1 o'clock. Also, the next class is at the mosque, which is the bottom picture on your right. Those run in the evening, 6 to 7. And they're both very popular classes. We're in the middle of Ramadan at the minute, so we're not able to get the mosque. So the council building is being used as the venue, which is really helpful to have this beautiful town hall here. Thank you. Next, business support and training, business cost reduction and training program. So that is being run by our well-beloved Rishi, who is here with us today. Rishi, could you give me a wave? Where are you? Thank you. So far, Rishi has been really good at doing this. I'm so happy. He's visited about 24 businesses, and he's identified over 37,000 in savings. So he's well on his way in terms of reaching the target on this program. My businesses are seeing a good result in terms of the savings, and I'm really happy about this. This was one of the first things that they said to me when I first started, is about we're struggling, especially the restaurants, in terms of our electricity, gas, and our water rates. Can we have some support? So it was really good to go to the ATCM conference, meet Rishi, and now we have him on board, which is really fantastic. And he will continue until in April, end of May, we'll have our report, and then we'll see how we go from there. But my businesses are really happy about this. Lastly, marketing and social media training, which we will launch in April. This has already been awarded to Sarah Carter Training, so she will come on board for another 6 months, looking at how to build the social media presence of our businesses. A lot of them just don't know that social media makes a difference to the uplift And we actually had a walkabout with one of our lead members. And after that walkabout, we took pictures and it was posted on social media. And actually the business started to see higher footfall. So we know it works. So we're looking forward to the results from this program. Marketing and promotion. Adam might say this is my favorite part of the project, but I really love doing stuff out on the high street and helping the businesses to grow and thrive. But more importantly, it's Whitechapel and helping Whitechapel to grow and thrive and be an area where people come to and can enjoy and shop and eat and play. The marketing campaign that we're running will include seasonal and cultural events, nighttime environment, extending the opening hours of businesses. So what we've done is we're having the events. We started in December where we had our first Women in Business Festive Fair. We have some of them here with us today who were at this Women in Business Fair. We had late night shopping. As you can see, there's the entertainment at top right, and in the middle, nighttime environment where we had the band playing Christmas carols and seasonal songs, and everybody was in shock. Where is this coming from? We've never seen this in Whitechapel before, but we're happy to have it. Can you do it again next year? Really, really good start. Helping the Women in Business Festive Fair was really brilliant. It is something that the mayor is championing, having women in business, and the women want to do more. We also tie this in with the retail businesses, that they will extend their opening hours. I've noticed that, as we've discussed, that the markets and the businesses work hand in hand together. So therefore, whenever we have events, we give the markets the opportunity to extend their opening hours, and by default, the businesses stay longer. So we work in tandem and as a team. The business communication channels, so we have a dedicated forum that we're forming, just a WhatsApp group, so we can talk about things on the high street. And the last thing is safety and security. We're going to develop a separate group for that and develop that as we go along. Those are pictures from the events, and the last one was our Rejuvenation Expo. Really well attended, really liked it. And that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much.